I'm Kevin Coleman with the Shadow Post, and I am at the Majestic Theater where we just had a chat about World Heritage. And please introduce yourself and tell us what you said up on the stage.
So I'm Chris Alford. I'm the superintendent at Hopewell Culture National Historical Park. I was just here today talking about World Heritage and a little bit of story about getting the inscription in Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and what we're starting to see after inscription since September of last year. At the park, we're seeing a fair percentage increase, roughly 60% increase in our visitors to the site. With a lot of those visitors coming in saying that they're specifically coming to the site because they had heard it was a World Heritage Site, which is great. There's some estimates out there that says that we could reach upwards of 150% visitation increase, which is going to be really interesting. And we haven't even started seeing the international contingent yet. So we'll expect the international contingent to start showing up sometime next year, maybe later this fall, depending on how quick they're making their plans.
You pointed out that we locals may make plans 3 days in advance. International, they'll make them 1 year in advance.
Well, typically in America, we tend to be a little bit more spur of the moment. A couple days, we're planning to go somewhere. We might plan out, a few months in advance. But international travelers, especially when they're traveling overseas and coming to the Americas, they want to plan a year in advance.
You mentioned some of your experience. You gave a good rundown of the places you've worked and how many World Heritage Sites. Can you mention that again?
So I've had the pleasure of working, this is my third World Heritage Site. I worked at a place called Mammoth Cave National Park in South Central Kentucky. I've also worked at Redwoods National and State Parks in Northern California. I've visited probably 22 other World Heritage Sites.
And you said that's a hobby of yours?
I just like, I travel, I go to National Park Service sites, and World Heritage is part of that.
And how long have you been with the Park Service?
I've been with the National Park Service for roughly 29 years.
So you've brought a little experience here to small town Chillicothe?
A little bit. I wouldn't say a whole lot, but just a little.
And how did you compare Hopewell culture to the other three World Heritage Sites you worked at?
So those sites, you talk about Mammoth Cave and you talk about Redwoods, those sites had a lot of popularity prior to their designations. I mean, Mammoth Cave, the world's longest cave, over 400 miles mapped below ground. Redwoods in Northern California, some of the largest trees that grow on Earth. They both have a strong natural component associated with them. But when it comes down to it, it's just the designation for the park. The communities weren't overly engaged in World Heritage in those areas. It's just whether they don't know or the designation is a little bit older and things have kind of wore off. But here, the communities here have an opportunity to engage in that World Heritage idea and that inscription and connect the communities to the World Heritage Site here in Ross County.
The World Heritage designation is a bigger thing here.
It tends to mean a little bit more to smaller communities that want to engage and connect those visitors back and between the communities and the parks.
Any other thoughts? Anything else you said?
That's all.
So, and you mentioned that when you started your job, you made a big request.
Oh, yeah. Well, coming on board, when I took over about 2 years ago, getting to the park and actually seeing the park infrastructure, I knew what World Heritage was going to mean for this location. The infrastructure of the park is really small. We have small parking lots. We have a small visitor center. Our visitation, even today, as we know it, is almost maxing out what we have. So yeah, definitely in the future, we're going to be looking at bringing in some more money so we can increase that infrastructure for visitors. But we have to do it in a balance where we protect the resource as well. Because this is a culturally sensitive site, and those are things that we have to take into consideration anytime we put infrastructure on the ground.
And of course, Hopewell culture is more than just Mound City.
Right. Hopewell Culture National Historical Park comprises 5 sites: High Banks, Hopewell Mound Group, Sipe Earthworks, Hopeton Earthworks, and Mound City Group.
Plus, you've got cooperation with the Arc of Appalachia with a couple other sites.
Well, there's one site, Spruce Hill, that it's on our paperwork, but it's owned by Arc Appalachia. They manage it, they take care of it, they own the land for it.
And also Junction.
And we don't have anything to do with Junction or Steel.
But at least ARC does manage it as a part of the story.
Right.
Okay. How can people learn more about Hopewell culture and world heritage?
I recommend visiting the park website, Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks website, social media pages. Come out and visit the sites. You've got 2 sites in Licking County, 1 in Warren County, and 5 sites here in Ross County. A lot of opportunities to get out and learn about this amazing place.
All right. Chris Alford, Superintendent of Hopewell Culture National Historical Park.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.